Hi, I'm Matilda. Welcome back to this little farm. I'm just going to do a tiny little garden tour. I've filmed a couple of these over the last couple of weeks, but they get really long and I'm worried that they're boring. But then I've decided that they're actually mostly for me. So I want to be able to look back and see that, yeah, this was my first season of having a real garden, and this garden tour will be helpful for that, I think, because right now for me this garden's really exciting and it's feeling really full, but in even a year I'm sure it's going to look very different. So yeah, here we go. So walking into the garden. Along this side I've planted lots of berries and also lavender, so I've got 3 lavenders and there's one at each end and then one like 2/3 of the way down, and it's separating the thorned berries from the thornless. So if we've ever got kids coming into the garden, we can teach them that, you know, in front of that middle lavender they can pick berries, but behind that the bushes have thorns. So they kind of shocked after I put them in. The lavender's doing okay. I also put straw on them but I think I put the wrong kind of straw because it's got a lot of seeds in it. So the strawberries and the lavender did fairly well. So I've got strawberries, another different kind of strawberry, another kind of strawberry. I think this is a loganberry, which is thornless, and we had a little one and a slightly bigger one that we got a while ago that was in a pot. This is a blueberry. It's lost all its leaves, but it's got some new growth on some of these, and they've shocked, but there's kind of nothing I can do about it, so I'm just leaving it and we'll see. It's also winter, so there's some new growth coming on those. Also lost all its leaves. This is the lavender. So I can't remember which is which, but we've got blackberries and then 2 kinds of raspberries. I think this one might be the blackberry and those 2 are the raspberries. And then lavender down the end. Actually, I think we've got 2 kinds of blackberries. So there's 1, 2, and then raspberry, and lavender. Now, since we're here in the back corner, this is a bed I just planted on the weekend. These are Novella Peas, which is a leafless pea. They're pretty cute. So the hope is that they will hold hands and grow together. This is pak choi, planted. They were sown too close together in their punnets, and I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to thin them once they start growing up a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Now this is, I don't know how to say this, mango wurzel. It's like a variety of beet, and so I've planted them fairly far apart and they'll take a few months to grow. So this is a flower, yeah, so that's a little flower in there, and then I've put some radish seeds throughout this to fill the space and get some food out of it while we're waiting for those beets. This is my pea trellis that I've made, and I'm not sure if it's going to work. So this is golden potted pea, and they're growing really nicely. They've just taken off in the last couple of weeks, so I'm just trying to train them to go between my strings. Always have been in the garden with me. Either side of this trellis is some cream gold onions, and that's on both sides. And then I've been trying to fill all the spaces the last week or so. So this is that same flower that's over there that I can't remember what it is. And then I've put, I think that might be calendula, and there's another kind of flower in there. I had all my seedlings and I marked my seedlings and I know what I've grown, but I can't remember what I put where. So, and then I put some radishes in that bed as well. This is our asparagus bed. I've put some radishes around there as well. I'm excited for this. So this is a radish flower, and this is one that was pollinated, and that's going to be a little seed pod, so I can save the seeds of this radish, which came in this pollinator mix. Put some radishes in there as well. This is Cape Gooseberry. I keep expecting it to die from the little bit of frost that we're getting, but obviously our frost isn't hard enough to kill it, so I'm just leaving it there until it dies. So again, put more radishes in here. It's another flower that I couldn't tell you what it is. Got leeks, broad beans, and a couple of sunflowers that didn't die. And then beluga lentils on that trellis. They have been growing really slowly, but they're speeding up now, which is cool. So they're probably too close together, but she'll be right. And broad beans down here. So I initially planted 5 seeds, which was these 4 on the outside and then 1 in the middle, which didn't germinate. So that's why these 4 are bigger, because then I ordered some more seeds and I planted them in trays and then put them out here. Under here, this is mostly brassicas and some onions and leeks and stuff. So there's broccoli down this end, and then we've got Brussels sprouts either side and leeks down the middle, and that's a little beer trap which I haven't caught any slugs in down the end. In this one I have I've got garlic down the middle most of the way down, and then kale either side. So I think I've got on the left I think is Siberian kale, and on the right is dwarf blue curled kale. And then towards the other end I've got some hybrid cauliflower, which you can see the rows of those. And then I tried for scarlet kale in this end bit, but I first had poor germination, and then the plants are just really tiny and weak, so I don't know what the deal is with that. This is another bed of garlic and weeds, and I'm going to plant I've got some little seedlings for kohlrabi and red cabbage that I'm going to put either side of these, and I've done that here. So I had 2 varieties of kohlrabi. I had a white kohlrabi and a red kohlrabi, and so on one side of this garlic here is the red cabbage and I think the white kohlrabi, and I'm going to put the red kohlrabi and the red cabbage on this side as well. So got some lettuce which was transplanted from a tray I started growing months ago, and so we've been eating that. This is kale, which really suffered. I planted these, I direct sowed them months ago, and they were tiny, but now they're coming back, and I put some radishes in around here where there aren't kale plants. And then these are some cauliflowers. I got those seedlings from my auntie, so I'm not sure what kind they are. This is an Australian brown onion. We did sow parsnips either side of those onions all the way down, but they haven't germinated, so I don't know. And there's an onion variety in here as well, which also is germinating poorly or slowly. I don't know. There are a few that are coming up, but we sowed them the same time as these ones. And it's long red Florence onion. So yeah, it's just growing more slowly, but that's alright. I've got space and time, so these are my peas. So I've got Frank's pea down this end, green feast and snow pea. The Frank's pea started flowering first, and I had some plants die, so I replaced them, and they're coming along pretty well. So they're flowering really nicely. Flower starts out pretty white, and then as it gets ready to open, it turns purple. Then it opens and it gets pollinated down in here. And then, let me find one. If you look at this, that's where, if you look at this, down in there is where the pea comes from. So let's see it here. There we go. So that's right. That's a little pea. And these ones are my first fruit. So I'm watching them closely so that I can eat them ASAP. The green feast have a white flower. And I found my first closed flower of the snow peas yesterday in here. Just there. So I can't wait till they start all flowering. It's going to be so exciting. I love peas, obviously. This is Sweet Alyssum, which is a flower. There, coming out. And I've put some, this was pak choi, but they were really weak and all died, so I put some radishes in there. Kale, same story as that other bed. They were really weak, and then now they're coming back. Got some different flowers, so everlasting daisy, Shirley poppy, calendula, and these ones Reese planted, so I don't know what they are. And some Bloomsdale long-standing spinach in here, and some flowers around the outside. Couldn't tell you what they are. Reese planted them. There is some thyme in here. This pot, the soil in here is really compacted, so I think that's why the thyme's not growing, and I think that's probably why the parsley's not really growing either. Beets, silver beet, radishes, I've pulled most of them. Rocket, which we're eating, but it's strong and it's coming back. Australian brown onion, which is starting to get to be bigger, which is exciting. Chamomile, the other day, this is the same story, so I think the soil's really compact. The other day I pulled some out of here, that's what those holes are, and I've put them just over there, so I'm just going to see if they like it better there. I suspect they will. This is Amsterdam giant spinach, which is coming back from the mites. Haven't really got anything from that yet, because those dang mites. Radishes, there's different varieties of radishes, and these ones, I think this is French breakfast. They've started swelling, which is so exciting. They're really starting to look like they're going to be ready soon. And then this is our carrot bed, which they are growing just slowly, as carrots do, I think. Oh, and we've got a little experiment going over here. So I found some supermarket potatoes that in the back of the cupboard that had started sprouting, and we had all this straw and old hay, so I thought nothing can really grow on this soil because it's hard. So what I've done is I piled up some of the old hay from the sheep paddock, because I put down hay for them, and then they eat it for a few days and then it starts just spoiling, and which is fine because it's a fertilizer for the grass. It's growing the grass in the spoiled hay. But so I grabbed some of that and laid it down here, and then I put the potatoes on top and then covered it with a little bit more spoiled straw and hay and fresh straw, and so we're going to see if anything grows. We are still going to get some frost here, though I suspect it'll mostly be just light frost, so that may kill the plants if anything grows. It also may not grow, just because really you're meant to let it compost first for a while, but we shall see. Worst case, it'll be good compost and we'll be able to plant something here next season or next year, so it'll be fine. Thanks for watching my garden tour. I'm excited to be able to look back on this in seasons to come and look at how much my garden's grown. So thanks, bye.